On May 12, 2011, Jim Mulva, CEO and chairman of ConocoPhillips, addressed the Senate Finance Committee. He stated that ConocoPhillips' global tax average was close to 46% in the past 5 years, and it's 19% higher than most Fortune 500 firms. And in the process, ConocoPhillips made cuts by selling nearly several $billion in assets. Now you're probably wondering how this affects you. Well, even with those efforts, the price of gas has still risen from $5 to $7 per gallon. And if that's not enough to get your attention, there is a fear of sustainability for food sources. So here's the hard fact. The only way to cut taxes for big business is by raising costs for the consumer. And as unfair as this may seem, there are efforts being made in transitioning to more eco-friendly energy sources. So the problem for current energy sources are fossil fuels, which are coal, natural gas, and petroleum. And they have three distinct symptoms. Now, there are byproducts of carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, and those are found in fertilizers and pesticides. There is a sustainability of fossil fuels. There is no telling what will be utilized and how it will be utilized or kept over the years. And then there's also human convenience, how we as consumers use this source of energy. So of all those three, the worst that can be contributed is the result of careless consideration for the planet. So the following could give solutions to these problems. So let's talk about locally grown foods. Now, when I look at statistics, it shows that when locally grown foods are here, there's a reduce in the consumption of both diesel fuel used for transporting these crops, and it also reduces the need for tilling with machinery and replacing it with the use of animals for that matter. And when you use the machinery to till, it releases those byproducts into the atmosphere. And this would actually, by transitioning to locally grown, more organic tilling, it would keep it under the earth. Now with also human convenience, Paolo Galizzi states that even if you're 90% certain that human behavior is causing global climate change, you should act on it, because if you don't, it may be too late to do anything by the time you're 100% certain. As far as ConocoPhillips is concerned, they are using alternative fuels. There is a report by Larry West. He states that the Energy Act of 1992 identifies 8 alternative fuels, and of those fuels were ethanol, which is alcohol-based, natural gas, electricity that's used in hybrid vehicles, hydrogen, propane, which is liquefied petroleum, biodiesel, which is made from vegetable oils, and methanol, which is a wood alcohol, as well as a P-series fuel, which is a combination of ethanol, natural gas, and a byproduct of methane. Now with that, you may be asking yourself, okay, that's all well and good, but what else can be done? Well, your involvement must be contributing to the future. You need to make necessary changes. I'd like you to consider for not only for your future, but also those of your children and your grandchildren. And your actions today will create the reactions for the future of our planet. And you have the power to promote better energy choices. So I'm challenging you to write Congress on issues such as energy, and take steps to utilizing green energy to promote the building of the construction of buildings, the use of hydroelectricity as a primary energy source, and restoring old practices of farming. And all of these will bring forth a cleaner environment to live and a brighter future for our planet. Now, following are statistical information in regards to power sources used, energy sources that were used. The first here is renewable energy consumption in the nation as of 2010, last year. Now, if you notice, primarily we have petroleum, um, coal, and natural gas, which are still the primary things used. But there are two others, which are hydroelectricity and nuclear energy. But primarily with hydroelectricity, you see that there are several different sources from wind, solar, geomass, and some other, and hydroelectricity. And with that, you can kind of see that there is still a lot that can be done as far as change. So the next is hydropower and the renewable electricity generation. So when I look at this is through the the Energy Information Administration. Actually, all three of these are. And this is over a 10-year span for hydropower and other renewables. Now, if you look at this, you can see at the bottom the other renewables, and above are hydropower. You can see how viable that option is as well. And again, that's over a 10-year period. So lastly, this next chart is actually for alternative fuel vehicles that were used in the United States in 2009. This is 2009. And you can kind of see here the legend shows the color, which the lighter means less that are used, and the darker shows how much more were used. And you can see the darker is 19,000 to 136,000. Now what shocked me was that if you look at the United States as a whole here, most of the southern states, especially our state of Texas, uses the most alternative fueled vehicles, which I find very impressive since it's so large. And then you can kind of see that further north and up in the northern regions, there is a use for more of the other fossil fuels. So with that being said, there's a lot still that can be done, and hopefully with your help we can progress into a better environment. Thank you.